On June 23rd, 2004, several weeks after the trial started, the trial court told the parties that three jurors had contacted the court bailiff and said that Juror 5 was 1. Watching the news on television about the trial, and 2. Discussing the evidence contrary to the court's order. The trial court had also received a letter directly from Juror 8. The letter said that Juror 5 had spoken about facts in the case, including 1. The anchor, 2. Detective Braccini's testimony, 3. Lacey's weight during pregnancy, 4. The Modesto Police Department's reports, 5. The prosecution lawyers, and 6. His, Juror 5's, girlfriend's report that he had been cited by Court TV as taking pride in being a loose cannon and very gregarious. Juror 8 later explained his motive for writing the letter. Juror 8 said he saw Juror 5 with the clique, and that meaning that 3 or 4 people that are constantly with him talking, and Juror 6 and alternate Juror 2 were all together. According to Juror 8, the improper conversations were generally started either by Juror 5 or by alternate Juror 2. He testified that Juror 5 was the leader of the clique, who usually starts the conversations, or alternate number 2 will come in at times and she'll start the conversation with him. Juror 5 was not always the one that initiates it, but those two are the ones that do a majority of them for 90% of them. Defence counsel asked to question the bailiff about the jurors' reports. The court refused and instead decided to question all of the jurors. Juror 5 was questioned first. He denied that he had been watching television reports. He also denied the specific allegations in Juror's 8 letter. Instead, Juror 5 told the trial court that there were general conversations which you can sit there and you can skew them any way that you want. When asked about what he meant by general conversations, Juror 5 explained that people will bring something up, like a story about something that could be related to the case, but we don't really talk about the facts of the case. The court asked Juror 5 if he talked about the anchor that was marked in evidence. Juror 5 explained that one of the jurors, I can't remember which one, asked if it was heavy enough, I think something about the weight, if it was heavy enough in the ocean or something, and had looked at me and I had said, it's nothing I have ever used in Hawaii or something when I had gone fishing. Juror 5 did not think he had discussed Braccini's testimony. He recalled that comments were made about Lacey's weight during the pregnancy, but he did not think he made them, but instead may have responded or said something during that conversation. He denied that he had said anything about the prosecution and their deficiencies as lawyers to present the case. Juror 5 then admitted that he had told jurors yesterday that his friends had called him and told him about simple incidences on the news where they were talking directly about me, but the friends never discussed with him the details of the case. When asked if he mentioned taking pride in being a loose cannon, Juror 5 replied, "Well, that's a big joke downstairs." He explained that loose cannon was not the only name he was being called and he did not take pride in it, but simply said, "Hey, keep them coming." For instance, another juror had said, "Blame juror number 5 because he's the moron," as a joke. When asked if he had made any other comments about the trial in front of other jurors, Juror 5 replied that he had in general, but I think all of us have. Like I mentioned, one thing or another at one time, and we're not in there going over evidence if that's what you mean. But like someone will bring something up and someone will say this and that will be the end of it. According to Juror 5, usually even if I like a personal discussion on something, someone else starts to lean towards one way or the other, it will start feeling that way and will usually cancel the conversation. For instance, according to Juror 5, one of the discussions was a report. He had not brought up the report. That was a conversation between two other jurors, and they had mentioned the reports. One of the jurors then asked him, "Well, when you file reports, do you this and that?" The discussion was about reports in general for my work and not court reports. He also testified that Juror 6 had said, yeah, when you file reports you have to be really accurate, and he actually went on about his work reports, saying, yeah, when I'm at work and we're doing the medical stuff, it has to be very, detailed and yada yada yada. Juror 5 assured the court that it had nothing to do with the case. The trial court then decided to question the remaining jurors and alternate jurors. The jurors were questioned in order of their juror numbers. The court questioned each of the jurors about 7 areas, asking them whether they had heard comments about 1. The anchor, 2. Braccini's testimony, 3. Lacey's weight, 4. The police department reports, 5. The state's lawyers, or 6. Television reports. In addition, the court asked each juror whether they heard admonishments by other jurors. The court learned that numerous jurors had discussed aspects of the case. Jurors 1, 2, 3, 10, 11 and 12 and alternate jurors 1, 3, 4 and 5 heard no comments at all about the anchor. The jurors who did hear comments about the anchor revealed that at most it was a short discussion involving the anchor's weight and ability to anchor a boat in the currents of the bay, which had been initiated by alternate juror 2 and discussed not only by juror 5 but also by juror 4 and alternate juror 6. Alternate juror 2 explained, what happened was my fault and I apologise. She explained, when we got in the room I wanted to see if we could hold the anchor to see how much it weighed, and I brought the anchor up. She thought, we could write a note to you or just ask could we hold and see how heavy the anchor was. Other jurors replied, when we get into deliberations all the evidence will be there, and she said okay. She did not know if juror 5 was one of these jurors. Another juror said we should not be talking about this, and then it was dropped. Juror 5 did not say anything and he didn't go on. Jurors 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and alternate jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 heard no comments at all about Braccini's testimony. The jurors who did hear comments about his testimony revealed at most that juror 5 had made remarks in passing, which also involved juror 4. Jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and alternate jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 heard no comments at all about Lacey's weight during pregnancy. Juror 8 was the only juror who claimed this comment occurred. According to Juror 8, Juror 5 commented on the weight when they looked up the chart from the doctor about her weight of 126 to 153. I believe that he thought it was a lot of weight and that it might have been more than the 8 months. Jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and alternate jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 heard no comments at all about inaccuracies in the Modesto Police Department reports. The jurors who heard Jurors 5 comment again revealed that they were general remarks which both Juror 5 and Juror 6 had discussed. Jurors 1, 7, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and alternate jurors 1, 2, 3 and 4 heard no comments at all about the prosecution and the way it was presenting the case. The jurors who did hear comments in this regard indicated that they were passing remarks that other jurors had also made. Juror 7 and alternate Juror 4 did not hear Juror 5 comment about the media or about talking to his girlfriend about television reports. The jurors who did hear Juror 5 comment in this regard indicated the comments all related to Juror 5, learning that he had been poorly portrayed in the media and had nothing to do with the facts and issues in the case. Jurors 1, 4, 9, 11 and 12 and alternate Juror 1 had not heard other jurors admonish Juror 5 not to discuss facts and issues in the case. The jurors who had heard these comments revealed that Juror 5 was not alone in receiving admonishments from other jurors. Turning to Juror 5, defence counsel argued that Juror 8 had made the accusations against Juror 5 because he thinks there is cliques and he doesn't feel like he's part of the cliques like in junior high school. Counsel thought that court should have a really strong 10-minute talk with them by way of admonishment. The prosecution argued the court needs to exercise its discretion at this point in time and remove him. Defence counsel disagreed, insisting that only a stern come-to-Jesus admonition delivered by you, forceful from on high, is what's needed. According to counsel, if the court dismissed Juror 5 for violating the court's admonition to not discuss the case, it must likewise dismiss all the other jurors and alternate jurors who also violated this very same admonition. The trial court disagreed, pointing out that Juror 5 has been admonished by other jurors not to talk about the facts. According to the court, I'm of the opinion that this guy is in fact a loose cannon in there, number one, and number two, I think having a to him, talking to him about Jesus is not going to make much difference because this guy describes himself as a loose cannon, and apparently he's proud that he is a loose cannon. Moreover, the court claimed this is the second incident we have had with this particular juror because we had an incident with him down at the screening station, which, as you said, the press made an issue out of. And now, according to the court, we have this other juror reporting and juror 3 complaining about his conduct, and there was a third unnamed juror that Jen said was complaining about this conduct also. But when they came in here, all of a sudden this didn't happen. Defence counsel asked again to question bailiff Jen under oath. The trial court denied this request, stating, I have to talk to every one of these jurors, and I have the testimony of juror number 8, and I'm more inclined to believe juror number 8 than I am to believe juror number 5, and finding there is good cause to remove this juror. Defence counsel moved for a mistrial. The court denied the motion and dismissed juror 5. Alternate juror 1 took juror 5's place on the jury. Counsel again moved for a mistrial. The court again denied the motion.